We are live, but I'm not going to talk for another 20 seconds. No, I just say good afternoon, Facebook. I've just got to look at my notes because I've got to look at the way I've worded the headline. So the headline is even I can't think of it. Blender Blitz. I actually wanted to make something stood out a bit. So smoothies, the truth. So straight off the bat, I'm going to say I'm a virgin when it comes to smoothies. All right. So I've had a few smoothies in my life, but I eat everything that goes with them. I just don't put them as a smoothie. So I'm going to hand it over to my co-host to say hello.
Hello, this is Leanne with Go Big with Leanne, and I am in Kansas, where we're having a nice rain today, much needed rain. So I think it's going to rain for the next 7 days on and off. So that'll be a nice change, I suppose. So, and I don't know. No, I have smoothies all the time for different reasons. I mean, it depends on the day of why I'm having one. But I know a lot of people like yourself find them troublesome. They're like, that's too much work.
Oh, no, I'm just lazy.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I was trying to be polite, Paul. I was trying to.
No, it's fine. I I don't mind.
Yeah.
Oh, smoothies are great. When I've had them, I've loved them. Absolutely loved them. You know, it's just I think the way I pace my life just doesn't lend to even giving it any time, and it's such a shame because I love them. I really do. So, yeah. But there's a fine dividing line, isn't there, between a smoothie and a milkshake?
Well, yeah, there can be. I mean, and there's all ranges of smoothies. So a smoothie, depending on how you make it, can be just as calorie dense and sugary dense as a milkshake. So,
absolutely. Well, that's half my notes gone.
Yeah. So what you want to, the first step that I always ask people is, so what, by having a smoothie, what are you wanting to accomplish? Are you wanting it to be a meal replacement? Are you wanting it to be a sweet snack? Are you wanting it to be, just something fun to do with the kids and the family? So there's all different, in my opinion, reasons why someone's doing a smoothie. I do a smoothie almost every morning for breakfast. Because for me, it's the way that I start my day strong with a good protein source, fruits and vegetables right from the beginning. And it's something because I have to go to work. So I carry it to work with me in my, nice thermos, and I don't have to drink it or eat it right away, depending on how thick I've gotten it. It can sit on my desk for a couple hours. And then when I'm ready for my breakfast, I have a nice, healthy breakfast versus oh crap, I didn't bring anything for breakfast. So now what am I going to eat? Let me go to the vending machine or to the cafeteria or down the road and, get a chicken breakfast biscuit or something bizarre. So I call it kind of my safety net of keeping me out of the other junk. And then it starts my day off strong.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's one thing I do know, and that's a massive smoothie will only give you one of your 5 a day, or how many antioxidants or fruits or vegetables you're going to have. It doesn't matter what you put in it. It's the size of it. You're not going to have more than one because obviously because of the sugar content. So it's great, but it's part of a healthy diet.
Right.
It doesn't replace anything. And then just because you have this massive smoothie doesn't mean to say you can eat fish and chips like you do in England, or pizza, or whatever. We all have bits of those. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't mean to say you can gorge on the rest.
Yeah,
it's not that type of thing. It's a lovely alternative, and I think that's the way to look at it.
Yeah, so, and I would call that be careful about the halo effect. The halo effect is because you've eaten something really healthy, or you think it's healthy. So like smoothies have been, advertised as a healthy food option. And yes, they can be, but also they can't be. But when you think something's healthy, then like Paul said, you kind of give yourself the license to sin in quotes later on. So just be mindful of, what's actually going in your smoothie. And, they can be very low in added sugars, because it just depends on what you use as your base, what you use for your protein source. So it can be just all natural sugars from the fruit.
Yeah.
So, they don't, I use mostly my base. I use a soy milk. So you can use soy milk, cashew milk, or almond milk or something like that.
Coconut milk.
Coconut milk. Yeah. So it depends on, a lot of people, ask yourself what ingredients you're trying to avoid. I personally like soy because it has protein in it and it doesn't upset my stomach, and it kind of gives it a creamy, a little bit of creamy texture, but not too much. But you could also use, some people use like strong teas. I've never done that, honestly. I've never used it.
Never even thought about it.
As the base.
Not an expert, don't know, but...
Yeah. Well, you're a smoothie version, so of course.
Well, because in the UK we drink a lot of tea.
Yeah. So in the UK, it might be more popular to use, because herbal teas have a very good health benefit for us. So
now I can tell you, because I did my homework on teas, and there's absolutely no more than any. They're trendy. They're trendy. They taste nice, but far as health benefits, they're much the same as brown tea. Green tea and brown tea are just really, there's not a lot of difference.
Yeah. Well, there's all elderberry teas. There's I don't know, in the United States there's rosemary tea. There's turmeric.
Everything, isn't there? It's a bit like when you go to Delhi in New York and you sit there you stand there for about 5 minutes looking at all these coffees on the wall, and you go,
right.
And I used to love that. That's one of my favourite things, to go and have a couple of bagels and get one of the. I don't drink a lot of coffee really, but I just sit there gazing at these coffees up there. I've got to try each one of those.
Yeah.
so they're great, But
here's how the base of my smoothie is. So I do use ice. I do use a cup of fruit. I do use 1 to 2 cups of spinach, leafy spinach. Because really, once you put spinach in a smoothie, it changes the color, but doesn't really change the taste. So, so that's a nice serving of vegetables right there. And then you want to have a protein source. So that could be, there's a bazillion different protein sources. You can use a protein powder if you like. And that's what I do for most of my smoothies. Every now and then I'll use like a nut butter. And that's usually like if I'm going on a hike or something and I want to have a nice, calorie dense smoothie before I go on a long hike. I usually, you can put flaxseed, chia seed, just to kind of really bump it up. And then, some people will put a little bit of unsweetened juice. I don't. So I use my soy milk as the base.
Yeah.
And then I just blend it up and it makes a, big, huge. And I found for me, if I don't put the spinach in, I don't stay full as long when I just use the fruit. So adding the spinach for me makes a big difference. And I have not been really brave on putting in a bunch of other vegetables, but I have juiced before and, put a little bit of carrot juice or celery juice or something in there. But that takes the work level way off the chart. So juicing's a story for another day. But I keep it. Sometimes I change up the fruit, but it's usually frozen strawberries or frozen mixed berries. I try to stick to the berries versus other fruit.
Well, frozen's always a better price.
Yeah. Well,
and it's just as good. Absolutely, just as good. It's one of the few things that are great frozen.
Yeah. And for me, when I use I'll put a banana in there that's fresh, half a banana or something. But if my bananas are going bad, then I freeze them and then they go in the smoothie as well. But, the couple times I've tried to use fresh strawberries, it made the smoothie horrible. It frothed it really bad or something. So I have found for the most part when it comes to smoothies, and you can buy fresh and then freeze them if you get a good deal on some fresh strawberries or something. But and that way you don't have to add as much ice either. You're just putting your frozen fruit in. One less step you have to worry about. I know some people that have, you can make little Ziploc baggies of, all your ingredients, so like on a Sunday when you're meal prepping, you can put everything that you throw into your shake in that Ziploc baggie, keep it in the freezer or refrigerator, whichever one you need. And then when you're ready, you just dump that whole thing out into your smoothie. So if you have a very busy lifestyle, that might be a good option to, just save you a little bit of time.
Yeah. As an alternative for ice, apart from obviously when you've frozen fruit, is things like cauliflower, small florets of cauliflower that are been in the freezer.
Oh, I was going to say, how's that an alternative to ice? Yeah, if they've been
It is because it comes out like ice.
Yeah. Well, you forgot that part. Frozen cauliflower.
I did say frozen. I did ice.
Oh, I
anyway,
didn't. Sorry.
I slipped it in there, not straight away though.
Yeah.
So.
And the other, sometimes the other vegetable that I do add is avocado. And that makes a really creamy, delicious shake, but it's going to be higher in calories, higher in fat. So, you have to decide as the person making the smoothie, what benefit are you trying to gain from this smoothie? What parts do you want it to incorporate? And then, and look at your whole day, because you don't want to be taking in all your fat and sugar content, sometimes I have smoothies for dinner, so it's because I've, for a number of reasons, maybe I've overeaten a little bit that day and I just need to have, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to have a little bit lower calorie smoothie, but something that will fill me up and satisfy me. And sometimes then dinner, I'm going to make a real not a heavy calorie, but a higher calorie smoothie because I haven't eaten very well that day. So I throw all my fruits and vegetables in there and the extra turmeric and goodies in there that okay.
The only challenge with turmeric, it does color it yellow, doesn't it? So
yeah, it does.
Just can ruin the color. Don't get me wrong, I love turmeric, but maybe not enough. Unless you've got a yellow smoothie already, then it won't make a lot of difference. But
yeah. If you're color sensitive, then smoothies are going to be a little more challenging to you to put some of these other ingredients in, because a lot of people have. A lot of people have palate sensitivity too. So I don't necessarily like a super creamy smoothie. I like mine more like in the United States, we have slushes.
Oh, yeah.
So I like it more kind of like a slush texture with a little bit of creaminess.
I like it thick. See, I'm definitely a thick
that
smoothie person.
That kind of grosses me out. So that's the other thing you have to take in consideration. You got to have to play around with your smoothies to figure out which texture, which ingredients you like, and you'll just experiment a little bit. And then once you find kind of the base recipe that works well for you, then you can change it up from there.
Yeah, so, you remember you said I think it was last week when you said about you don't go into McDonald's, you go to the drive-through.
Just the opposite. I don't go through the drive-through.
Oh, so you don't go through the drive-through.
Yeah, you go in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, one of my weaknesses is vanilla milkshake.
Oh,
that's why I like it thick. And so yeah. If I can have smoothies, then I don't really need to go to McDonald's. I mean, not that I go very often, but
right.
Sometimes I just want a vanilla milkshake.
Yeah. And some of the things that I add in as natural sweeteners are you can put in cocoa. Cocoa has no sugar in it.
Yeah.
But be careful. You don't put a lot in.
Good quality. Yeah. I mean, calories are not too bad on that either, on cocoa powder. So I did have that written down, actually.
And cinnamon. Cinnamon's another
Cinnamon's on there on my list, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And nutmeg. So lots of when you're thinking of a smoothie, you can think about like if you're making and vanilla, adding some natural vanilla extract. Think about if you're baking cookies or cakes or desserts, what kind of spices, seasonings that you use for that. You can put a lot of those same ones. I'll make sometimes when my apples are going bad, I'll throw my apples into a smoothie with a little nutmeg and cinnamon and vanilla extract, and it makes an apple pie smoothie.
Yeah. Cayenne powder, another one you can find.
Yeah.
I think is that how you pronounce it? Cayenne. Cayenne?
Cayenne, yeah, it's a
Cayenne.
spicy. So it's going to give it a little kick to it.
I think the thing is to is not to make it the be all and end all of your diet,
Right.
And look to have a bit of fun with it.
Right.
Just a little bit of variety. Experiment as much as you can. Maybe I don't know. It's going to be down to the individual what they want to do. But I'm sure, I don't know if we've got anyone on here that has got their favourite recipe. Just the name will do. You don't have to list what's in it. I think we probably can find out quite easy. But yeah, I mean, it's. I think it's fun. I'm going to have to get myself the old NutriBullet, I think. And I've got one. I've got one round here, but I haven't got one where I'm staying at the moment. So I'm going to have to get myself one.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, you don't have to have a $400 blender to make a decent smoothie nowadays, because most of the blenders now, they may not last you as long as the $400, but you could buy 10 of them before you'd need to replace it. So I think I have a Ninja. I'm not sure what it is, but it works fine. So it's, and the other ingredient that a lot of people will add to their smoothies is Greek yogurt.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I would add to mine.
Yeah,
low fat or absolutely no fat.
Yeah. So that's very popular. If you're trying to avoid dairy, then you have to get a coconut yogurt or something. But yeah. And so I'll sometimes put a scoop of Greek yogurt in mine, but not very often. I usually just use a protein powder that I like. I use a plant-based protein powder. But again, that's up to individual choices.
Just veering off the smoothies just for a second. Yeah. So what's the difference between a whey protein powder and an animal protein powder? And I don't mean the obvious. I mean, is it just more healthier or?
Well, whey is animal protein. So, I mean, you want to, from my coach that I use for nutritional guidance, she said if you're going to use a whey protein, to make sure it's grass-fed whey. Personally, whey has a tendency to upset my digestive system, so I don't usually use a whey-based protein. I will every now and then, because if I do it once a week or so, it doesn't bother me. But that's why I use a plant-based. That's like a pea protein, and the proteins come from plants versus from an animal. So, but that's, you have, again, that's where you do your own self-discovery.
Yeah, I think one of the big things for me, and I don't want to veer too much away from the smoothies, but is that there is a big discrepancy between omega-6 and omega-3 balance, and sometimes we have to be a little bit careful, because omega-6, which is plant-based, is pro-inflammatory as a general thing, whereas obviously the marine algae and the omega-3s are anti. They're the other ones. So so you have to get the right balance, and obviously everything, all the diets you've seen at the moment all mention plant-based, all, without a shadow of doubt. There's none that I can see that mention the marine algae, and that's you've got to have the balance. You must.
Right. All the if you read the book, The Blue Zones, where all the people that are living to be 100 plus, they have a highly plant-based diet. So, so it's always good to incorporate as many healthy plants as possible, and, not as many red meats and things like that. But, everybody's on their own journey, and they've got to find their way on that. And some people's genetics, they can get away with a lot more than others. So,
especially those people that smoke all their lives and live to about 85, 90. I mean, it's like, I don't know. You've got to find these things out for yourself. You're right. What works for one may not work for another. So
right. Yep.
I can take whey protein powder quite easily, and I don't have a problem. But other people may not. So
right. And that's the same thing that goes with which type of, if you use a type of milk for the base, is it going to be almond? Is it going to be dairy? Is it going to be soy? You go
almond. Almond's my favorite.
Yeah.
I lived on almond milk when I came to the States for 3 months.
Yeah. So everybody's going to find that. And then, nut butters, if you want to use nut butters for protein. There's almond, there's cashew. So
I love nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. Those can add a bunch of calories really quick. So, but I try to add, flax meal, flaxseed, which is flaxseed that's ground to every smoothie, and to
pumpkin seeds as well. Pumpkin seeds.
Yeah.
Very healthy. So
I mean, you can Google, smoothie recipes and have probably 10 million to pick from.
I mean, you've only got to spend a bit of time on Google, or go on one of the Instagram or Pinterest is a good one for recipes.
Right.
Really brilliant on there, Pinterest. So, so flavouring without sweetenings. That's obviously quite big as well, because obviously we've got to be a little bit careful with the sugar intake. As you say, you don't want to do everything.
Right.
Everything that you need during the day in one sitting. It's like, which is fine if you're not going to eat for the rest of the day. Maybe I don't know. I prefer to have 4 or 5 meals.
Yeah. Yeah. I prefer to mostly chew my food. So that's why, usually I will only have a smoothie on work days. And then, I don't work Fridays. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I rarely have a smoothie, but sometimes I'll have just a plain protein shake where it's just protein and water, because I'm going to be gone for a few hours, running around, and I don't want to be starving while I'm out and about. Because I prefer to chew my food. And there's also something about your diet. I'm not a nurse or doctor or anything, but our body typically prefers to chew our food as well. So it's more satisfying to the body and to the mind. So, but
yeah, because when you're chewing, you set up the acid in your stomach. They're expecting food to come down.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why bubble gum, chewing gum, things like that, is that it can cause a few problems.
Yeah.
I don't know how big, but
right.
Because they're waiting. Please send us the food down.
Right.
Yeah. But, So what did I say? Small. Oh, that's the other thing. Yeah. I picked up on when I was doing my little bit of research was small smoothie, tall water.
Yes.
So in other words, you take a smaller portion. You don't go berserk and have a massive portion of the smoothie, but you have a more massive water. So it's actually a good balance. So yeah. So obviously, as we progress later on, we can come back with actual definite recipes that we tried. You know, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and test out the theories, and and because I love berries, I love bananas and things, and and of course you've got. I mean, the other thing is the veggies. I mean, don't forget the veggies. It's not just about fruit.
Yeah.
So have you got anything else you can think of at all?
No, I think that's the basics of smoothies. And again, I have some recipes that, maybe I'll share in the comments, a brain smoothie that you can do, because there's also smoothies can be designed to, cardio smoothie, a brain smoothie that, have some spices and herbs and things in it that kind of focus on a different, area.
Yeah.
So just have fun, experiment with it, you make them for your the good thing, like with my grandkids, I'll make a smoothie that we share, because then that's way better than cakes and cookies, and they love them, so it's a nice, refreshing,
absolutely.
Here in Kansas, it's really hot in the summer. So it's a nice, refreshing treat compared to what you could be having.
I love cake. That's the challenge.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I could, if it was healthy enough, I could live on cake.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I love cookies, so I could.
I love them as well. It's terrible, isn't it? I'm on health. I'm running a health show, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, it's all about balance, right? I want people to know that we're real people as well, that we have those real desires, because I think they can relate to us better, Paul, if they know that we love cake and cookies.
Oh yeah.
And at the same time, we figure out how to have a healthy diet in the midst of those things that we love.
I'm going to have I'm going to start a new one called the Food Cheat Channel, I think.
Yeah.
So I'll be an absolute expert at that. So
we might have a bigger audience on that channel. Huh? Hey, David, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, you beat me to it. I did just notice, David, a good friend of mine doesn't live too far away from me. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, great. So, yeah, I think we're about done.
Yeah.
Leave any questions you've got, because I love researching things. So, and then we won't. This is not going to be the only one we do on Smoothies. We're going to, when we get enough questions and enough research to make, then we'll come back and do another one, and we'll come back and talk about actual recipes, and we might even make one online.
Oh, yeah.
Work and go on, get in the kitchen and make one.
Yeah.
So
sounds good.
So that could be fun.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on your show again, and everybody.
Well, the show's nothing without you, Leanne. Oh, and the other thing is, while you're here, just promote your Go Big with Leanne.
Yeah, I put it on
great shows on there.
Yeah, so I have another show here in 30 minutes with a gal from France. And she's an emotional release coach, mostly through art. So yeah, I think I've done, I don't know, 10 or 12 interviews. So you can find them all on Go Big with Leanne Facebook page and watch them live or catch the replays. Having a great time with them. Lots of just different, really interesting topics. So yeah. And
or go through your main page, which is Leanne Moore.
Yep, either one.
And you'll pick it up there as well. So
yeah,
great. Well, have a fantastic weekend, and thanks for coming on. It's always great to have you on here.
Yeah,
and we'll speak soon.
Bye bye.
See you later. Bye. Bye, everyone.